When passion for cooking becomes an art form. Subscribe to Cooking and Travel by Dr. Papori Barooah. Good morning everybody and welcome back to my channel. It's a Sunday and I really want to bake something. So today we are trying to bake out chocolate brownies. Brownies because of the texture, because of the walnuts there and the crunch that you have every time you eat it. It's something that's really very tasty. So let's bake some brownies today. Now let me introduce you to the ingredients. Here I have 6 tablespoons of cocoa powder. Here I have 100 grams of butter at room temperature. I will need around 3/4 cups of maida or refined flour, which I have put into the sieve directly, and 2 eggs at room temperature, walnuts, which form the main ingredient, one of the main fruits or dry fruits that really goes into a brownie, and this is 1/2 cup of walnuts which I'll chop down. And here I'll need around 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla essence, 1/4 teaspoon of salt, and I have put into the mixie 1 full cup of sugar. So these are the basic ingredients I will need to make one of my favorite cakes, can I say, or one of my favorite recipes. I always link up my mom with this recipe, because this was one of the best recipes she had tried out on her own and had won one of the best prizes in the flower shows, the first prize. First, I'll put in the salt there and give it a nice sieve with the salt and the flour mixture. It is very important for you to sieve it that way, or it will be, more fluffier. Now we have to take the sugar in a bowl and break the 2 eggs into it and mix it properly with a hand blender. Alright, till we have a lemony color there. So this is the first egg. I'll put in the second egg. Now we whisk it. Blend it properly with an electric mixer. So I have been whisking like this for almost 4 minutes now. Meanwhile, I've heated some water and then I'm going to make a double boiler. How do you do that? I've heated some water in a pan like this and I'm going to place a bowl with the butter and the cocoa. But you need to be careful that it's the steam that should touch the bowl and not the water, right? So this way it goes in until the butter actually melts and we have a nice mixture of the butter and the cocoa. I'm going to go on stirring, that is cooking, or in a way trying to mix up the butter and the cocoa into a nice and homogeneous mixture with the help of the steam that's coming from under the bowl there. See, it's a beautiful mixture that we have completely blended there, and now we need to take it off the flame. And the next thing I have done is that I have just greased a pan like this, the baking dish there, on all sides with butter. So this is the consistency there. Now I'm going to throw in the egg mixture into this mixture. So slowly I'm throwing in the egg mixture into this mixture, and now I'm going to give it a nice stir. So giving a nice stir till the entire thing is mixed up and we have the beautiful color coming up, the brown coming up, emerging, right? And this is the time when we need to put in the flour mixture that we had sieved, the flour and the salt mixture, right? I think I need to shift it to a bigger bowl so that the process becomes easier for me. Meanwhile, I'll put in 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla essence and put my oven at preheat in 176 degrees centigrade. Now batch by batch I'm going to throw in the flour and give it a nice whisk and fold in the flour into this particular mixture there. Now, brownies, they hold the place of real nostalgic remembrance for me. It is because here this reminds me of my mom. And brownies, by the way, also need to remember that if you go in for more than 176 degrees centigrade or lesser, also the brownies will be a little rigidy, or in fact you can say something like elastic, right? So it's very important to maintain the temperature at 176 degree Celsius. This is 1 teaspoon of baking powder. In fact, this is I'm just putting in the baking powder. Normally when we talk about brownies, you may not go in for the baking powder, and I don't remember my mom using it as well, but I'm using it because it's a leavening agent and it will make my brownie rise. So that's the entire thing is done. Now I'll put in the crumbled, in a way little crushed walnuts. Now walnuts add that actual texture in a way, or the crunch in the entire recipe. And when we talk about brownies, we remember the walnuts. So this is done. I do not actually need to work on it now. Let me put it into my baking dish and it will go into the oven for around 20 minutes at 176 degrees centigrade. So I'm putting it into the dish there. It has been greased properly, and we are praying that we get wonderful, brownies there. Just let me level it all. 3 times, all the air bubbles are out, and it's ready to go into the oven at 176 degrees centigrade for 20 minutes. All right. For 20 minutes. So let me just check whether it's done. See, the skewer has come out perfectly, and this is done. But I need to tell you, I had to increase it for another 15 minutes. So on the whole, it took 20 minutes plus 15 minutes, 35 minutes to cook in my oven. So you have to be careful because the temperature is different in different ovens. So this is how my first ever brownie that I have baked is. It looks like this. I hope it's tasty, but it looks very tasty because you can look at the beautiful, it's raised up to the level a brownie should, and once I taste it, I'll come to know how it really tastes. It looks good, however, and I feel really, my mom would have loved it very much to see me bake a brownie. So let us wait for some more time till I really take it out and then taste it. So that's my perfect brownie. Look at that, how soft it is. Okay, so all I need to do is now cut a piece and then taste it. Okay, here, this is how it looks there. Let me cut a piece first and check out. Okay, this is the thing about the brownie, that the way it looks, a little cracked on the top and with little walnuts coming up, right? So let me check how it tastes. Lovely. I tell you, exact proportions, try out. It's so good. Everyone should try making a brownie with this recipe. I hope you like this recipe of mine. Do give a like and a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you haven't, and please leave your comments. I would love to read them. Thank you.